This is an MJA Inc. Investigations warning. This MJA podcast is rated E for explicit. Some details of a case and language used on this podcast might be upsetting to some of our listeners. Listeners' discretion is advised. And for those who are still with us, kick back and enjoy the show. When there is an ending, there was a beginning. Every victim has a picture to paint. Every true crime has its time and place. Please join our MJ podcast, the series Deep into the Woods, Missing Persons, Unsolved Crimes, and the Does. Welcome to our MJ podcast, this series, Unsolved Crimes, Episode 11, Part 8, 6 Oregon Unsolved Homicide Cold Cases. Project Cold Case, who is in partnership with the Murder Accountability Project, has produced a list of statistics of unsolved homicides in each state which were committed from 1980 to 2019. According to that list, there were approximately 5,671 homicides in Oregon during the nearly 40-year time frame. Looking further, about 3,782 of those murders were solved during the same time period, leaving law enforcement with about 1,889 murders unsolved in Oregon as the latest update. A cold case is defined as a homicide or murder that has been thoroughly investigated, when all leads are exhausted but yet the case remains unsolved. Something about these scenarios is oddly captivating to the human psyche. Hello everyone, My name is Mark, and I will be your host for tonight's show. Joining me later will be our amazing co-host, Olivia. We are coming to you from Hudson, Florida. Welcome to the state of Oregon. 6 Oregon Unsolved Homicide Cold Cases. Case 1. On March 23, 1972, 28-year-old Alma Barra was found murdered in Willamette National Cemetery outside of Happy Valley, Oregon. Case 2. On July 20th, 1975, Shirley Wallace was murdered at her workplace in Eugene, Oregon. Case 3. On August 27, 1978, the body of a young pregnant female was found outside of Elgin, Oregon, near Finley Creek, located in Union County. Case 4. On October 25, 1986, 2 men discovered human remains that turned out to be a male while they were fishing at Horseshoe Lake. Case 5. On May 25, 1992, 47-year-old Glenda Carter was found murdered on a bushy trail behind 5115 Northeast 14th Place in Portland, Oregon. Case 6. On August 18, 2019, 40-year-old Jennifer Ann Black was shot and killed in a parking lot of the Pine Street Pub in Salem, Oregon. Let's take a pause for the cause, and when we return, Olivia will be on the line, and we will profile 6 Oregon Unsolved Homicide Cold Cases that have very little information concerning the case. Be back in a moment. Welcome to our MJ podcast, this series, Unsolved Crimes. This is episode 11, part 8, 6 Oregon Unsolved Homicide Cold Cases. We have Olivia on the line. How are you doing tonight?
Doing well.
Okay, let's profile these 6 cases that have very little info concerning the case. Welcome to Clackamas County, Oregon. Victim 1. Unsolved homicide. On March 23, 1972, 28-year-old Alma Barrera, a white female, was last seen leaving the Cooper Penny Tavern. Barrera was wearing a white sweater, turtleneck, maroon vest, and pants. The 28-year-old Barrera was in the company of an unknown male going southbound on 92nd Avenue between 11 and 11:30 p.m. Alma Barrera's body was found in an area of a heavy brush of the Willamette National Cemetery outside of Happy Valley, Oregon, about 40 feet off of Mount Scott Boulevard. Anyone with information about this crime is urged to call the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office tip line at 503-723-4949.
Welcome to Eugene, Oregon. Victim 2, unsolved homicide. In the late evening of July 20, 1975, an adult male suspect entered the Gentleman's Retreat Massage Parlor located on River Road in Eugene, Oregon. The suspect took Shirley Wallace and another female employee hostage at gunpoint. Both women had their hands bound. Hold on. Something wrong with my computer. Give me a second.
Okay.
And were separated from each other. Shirley Wallace was brutally murdered. The other employee escaped and alerted citizens at a nearby bar. Several people ran to help when two of them were shot by the fleeing suspect. The suspect was last seen driving away in an older model pickup, red with white trim, possibly bearing out-of-state license plates. The composite of the suspect was completed by witnesses. If you have any info about the murder of Shirley Wallace, please contact the Lane County Sheriff's Office Cold Case Team at 541-682-4513 and reference case number 759112. You may contact our communications center at 541-682-4150 and press 1.
Welcome to Finley Creek, Union County, Oregon. Victim 3, Unsolved Homicide. The Oregon State Police, in partnership with Crime Stoppers of Oregon, is asking for the public's help to identify a body in the northeastern Oregon in 1978 who was named Finley Creek Jane Doe. On August 27, 1978, the body of a young female was found in a wooded hillside located outside of Elgin, Oregon, near Finley Creek, located in Union County. The unidentified female was pregnant, likely in her 6th to 8th month of her pregnancy. Investigators estimate that Finley Creek Jane Doe was between the ages of 14 to 25 years old. Her estimated year of death is between 1970 and 1975. The Finley Creek Jane Doe remains were discovered by hunters in a wooded area underneath a log on the side of the hill, about 100 feet from a nearby road outside of Elgin, Oregon. The Jane Doe may not have been from the area where she was located in. No known missing person appeared to match her description. Authorities believe Finley Creek Jane Doe could have kept to herself or maintained a low profile if she had spent time in the area. Some investigators consider the possibility that the teenager or young woman may have fallen victim to Gary Ridgway, who was known to dispose of bodies in Oregon. Ridgway was active between the early 1970s and 1990s. There are other investigators that have suggested her case could be connected to the so-called Lewis-Clark Valley murders. These murders occurred in states such as Idaho, Washington, and possibly Illinois. The remains of Finley Creek Jane Doe and her unborn child were cremated after they were given an autopsy. Although the current location of the ashes are unknown, there are current efforts to rediscover them. The recent developments in the process of DNA extraction and enrichment, it is hoped that her remains are located and a usable profile could be obtained. Investigators like to hear from anyone with information about this case, including the identity of the deceased female. Please contact the Oregon State Police. Phone numbers 1-800-442-2068 or the Southern Command Center or 503-378-3720, and that's the Southern Command Center headquarters.
Welcome to Marion County, Oregon. Victim 4, Unsolved Homicide. On October 25th, 1986, two men discovered human remains while fishing at Horseshoe Lake. Marion County Sheriff deputies responded and searched the area. Body in the advanced stages of decomposition was recovered. The unidentified male was not intact and scattered in a brushy area near the lake along with some items of clothing. No identification was found. The John Doe is a Hispanic male around 39 years old. The date, time, and cause of death has not been determined through the examination of the remains or other investigation methods. Based on evidence gathered during the crime scene investigation, homicidal violence is believed to have been responsible for the death. A notable characteristic of the body was a number of unusual tattoos which have been preserved and photographed. The tattoos depict markings and images which bear no clear meaning except for one. The tattoo appears to be the name of Felix. People from St. Paul, Oregon, and the surrounding area visit Horseshoe Lake area for recreational purposes. If you have any info concerning this case, please contact the Marion County, Oregon Sheriff's Department.
Welcome to Portland, Oregon. Victim 5, Unsolved Homicide. On May 25, 1992, at around 2 p.m., 47-year-old Glenda Carter, a black female, was found murdered on a bushy trail behind 5115 Northeast 14th Place in Portland, Oregon. The 47-year-old Carter was last seen between 11 p.m. on the previous night and 3 a.m. on the day she was found. Glenda Carter died of strangulation. The 47-year-old Carter had moved to Portland 5 months prior to her death to attend a truck driving school. The previous year, Glenda Carter had been traveling with her fiancé, who was a truck driver, and was pursuing her CDL to assist him. Carter chose the Portland area so she would be able to live and spend time with her eldest daughter and 3 grandchildren. Glenda was a mother of 3 children who described her as always the funniest person in the room. Even though the 47-year-old Carter battled with addiction off and on, her children recalled times when she was clean for years at a time and described her as beautiful, intelligent, and the greatest mother. Glenda Carter had several acquaintances in the neighborhood, and it is assumed her death was a result of a dispute over drugs. At the time, it is said that she had a boyfriend by the name of Richard. Police have very little information about him and have not been able to determine his last name. He is not a suspect at this time, but a person the police would like to speak with about this crime. If you have any info concerning this case, please call the Portland, Oregon Police Department.
Welcome to Salem, Oregon. Victim 6, Unsolved Homicide. On August 18th, 2019, 40-year-old Jennifer Ann Black was shot and killed in the parking lot of the Pine Street Pub in Salem, Oregon. At around 1:30 a.m. on August 18th, 2019, Salem police officers responded to a shooting at the Pine Street Pub on 460 Pine Street Northeast. When police officers and medical personnel arrived, they found 2 gunshot victims. Medical personnel took both people to a hospital. The 37-year-old man survived his injuries, but 40-year-old Jennifer Ann Black died. According to police reports, witnesses said there were several people standing outside the bar when someone fired several gunshots. Police are still searching for at least one suspect in the double shooting that resulted in the death of Jennifer Black. According to friends and family, the 40-year-old Black was a mother of 2 and would meet with her friends at the pub, which was near her home. Despite a search of the area, including canine units, police officers were unable to locate any suspects. Salem police have not released any suspect information. No arrests have been made and the case remains unsolved. Salem Police Department, in partnership with Crime Stoppers of Oregon, is asking for public help with solving this 2019 double shooting case. If you have any info concerning this case, please contact the Salem, Oregon Police Department hotline at 503-588-8477.
Okay, Olivia, is there anything you would like to add to these cases?
Not really, just kind of, they're all over the place. They're different cases. It seems like a lot of them, I shouldn't say this, had like kind of sketchy past, you know.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
that's a lot of reasons. That's why they're targets because of maybe the
Yeah, that's what I'm beginning to see.
yeah
And
yeah
a lot of them, I hate to say it, a lot of them are single moms. You know, and I guess they're just going out looking for company, and sometimes they run into the wrong person.
yeah yeah
You just got to be careful out there. It doesn't matter what time. I'm beginning to see. I was born in the '60s, and it seemed like a simple life as compared to now. But you're starting to see that. Well, some of these kids, some of them are in the '70s. I didn't realize there was that much crime, going on back then. But then again, I was young,
yeah
But
yeah.
yeah, it was all over the place. And Oregon is kind of a desolate area, isn't it?
They're,
It's
they
not highly populated.
yeah. Well, they have a lot of population, but they have a lot of isolated areas.
Isolated areas. That's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah. The timber
Yeah.
because all the timber, the trees, it's timber
And don't they have
country.
is that where the Cascade Mountains are? Or that's
I
Washington State?
I
That's
can't remember.
Washington, right? I
I
can't
can't remember.
recall.
Yeah, I can't recall either. No.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to thank
Alrighty.
Olivia for being on here tonight. A special thanks to our viewers and listeners for tuning in, for y'all have been so kind. Always remember, folks, that if you ever get bored with nothing to do, well, take a walk deep into the woods. You might be surprised at what you might find. That's the end of our MJ podcast, this series, Unsolved Crimes. This has been episode 11, part 8, 6 Oregon Unsolved Homicide Cold Cases. We say to all of you, good night from Hudson, Florida.